Hello, my name's Linda. I'm a UK independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I'm using the Nature's Beauty and the Colourful Seasons, and I'm going to be making a card for the Cards for Gals card challenge today. I'm a design team member on this challenge and we would love you to join us. The theme is Welcome Autumn. So I'm actually going to be using the deer on this occasion and some of the leaves, and we're going to be doing two techniques. I'm going to start by just stamping our deer. Now this is a masking sheet, so we're going to stamp on the paper side, and then when you take the plastic off the back, it's got a tacky feel, so you can put it over onto your card and it won't tear it. I'm using Memento black ink, but it really doesn't matter what ink you use because we're just making a mask at the moment. I've stamped my deer onto my masking sheet, and now you have to fussy cut. So get your scissors and cut all the way around that. I've already done one. And you do need to cut between his legs there. So if you just cut up and cut that gap out, and that's what you're going to be left with. I'm using Whisper White note cards and envelopes today. I've cut a piece of thick Whisper White, and this is cut at 2 7/8 by 4 7/8. So it is just going to fit into this card base, so you've just got a little edge all the way around. So I'm using my Memento ink again, and I've inked my deer up, and I'm going to stamp in the middle of my card. Now how lovely is this stamp? That looks like a card already. Our first technique is going to be masking, and when our ink is dry we're going to put our mask over our deer. So while I'm waiting for that to dry, I'm going to start on our next technique. So we're going to do the baby wipe technique. So I've got a baby wipe here. I'm just going to fold it over a few times. I'm just going to lay it on a big block I've got here, but if you've got a little Tupperware container or a little plastic container, if you put it into there and put a lid on it, you'll be able to use it again and again until it all dries out. So now we're going to use some of our ink refills to put little drops of ink onto our baby wipe. I'm using Cherry Cobbler. I'm just going to put a few drops, and Pear Pizzazz. You can use whatever colours you want depending on what you're trying to achieve, but as I'm going for autumn, I'm going for these autumny colours, and I've got some crushed curry. And I've also got some Mossy Meadow, but I'm not going to use too much of this because it is really dark green, which I love. I love this green. And now I'm going to put the mask over our deer that we stamped earlier. So you just pull this plastic piece off the back, put that to one side, and now this bit is a little bit sticky and a little bit tacky, and we want to put that over our deer, so we're covering up what we've already stamped. So you can see I've just put that over my stamped image. I'm using my piercing mat because the stamps that I'm using are photopolymer. I'm using this one and this one, and I've also got a piece of Whisper White here. This is thick Whisper White. I'm not sure if I told you that. This is another piece of thick Whisper White. I'm just going to stamp this leaf onto here. So I've got my stamp, and I'm going to put it into my ink, just move it around a few times, and then I'm going to stamp it over here so you can see what it looks like. And I'm going to do that again. So I've got a couple of leaves over there. How cute are they? Really, really autumny. I'm actually going to add a little bit more crushed curry because I want a little bit more yellow in there. And now I'm going to start on our card. I'm using the big leaf this time. I've inked him up and I want to stamp all round my deer. So when you stamp, you need to do a little tiny bit of rocking, which I know you're not meant to do, but you want to feel around your deer. So if you can see, it's not quite covered my deer, so you can see a sort of a white edge around it, but we will fix that later. So I'm going to carry on doing some more stamping. I'm going to use my little one as well. So to fix my little halos that I've got there, I've just got a cotton bud and I'm just going to roll that into my ink and then just go around those bits there. So I've got rid of my little halo and I've got my embossing buddy, and I'm just going to go over my embossing buddy. I have got a couple of lines here, but I'm actually going to be covering that one up. So I'm going to be using this stamp now, sort of like a skeleton of the one that we used before, and I'm going to use Versamark. I'm going to ink it up. I'm using the copper embossing powder, and I'm just going to sprinkle that over our Versamark ink. If you find you've got some embossing powder where you don't want it, just brush that off. I actually keep this brush specially for doing this. I don't use it for anything else. So I've gone ahead and I've heat embossed this. Hopefully you can see all that lovely coppery shine. And now I'm going to take the mask off. So for the big reveal, and there we go. How lovely is that? Really, really pleased with that. And I'm just going to leave the deer. I'm not going to colour it in it at all because I want it to really pop against the background. So I'm going to start putting the card together now. And if you remember, we also stamped a couple of the small leaves, and I'm going to die cut those out. So I've cut these little leaves out, quite pleased with them. And I've used butterfly wishes just for the sentiment because I wanted this to be a birthday card. So birthday wishes. I've already stamped this. I've used the copper embossing powder again, and I've cut it out using one of the stitch nesting dies. And I have some of this as well, which I can't remember what it's called, but I will put it on my product list. I'm going to assemble my card now. I've got all my relevant pieces here, and I'm going to put some double-sided tape on the back of this. I'm going to stick this to the front of my card. So I have my piece of burlap ribbon. See, I know what it's called now, I remembered. And I'm going to stick that on as well. I've put some double-sided tape on the back. I've popped this one up on dimensionals. And then I'm going to pop these with just a little dab of glue. And there we go, finished. I did end up putting a glue dot behind this one because it made it much easier to stick. I'm really pleased with this card. I think this was perfect for welcome autumn. And of course you could use the other animals as well. There's a fox and a rabbit, and I think they would work equally well. So thanks for watching this video with all the techniques. So you had the masking technique, we've had the baby wipe technique, plus we've done some heat embossing and some die cutting. How much have we been doing today? So if you go to the description below, you'll be able to find a list of products I've used in case you would like to replicate this card. And there will also be a link to the Cards for Gals card challenge. So I encourage you to join in. Think of something autumny, make a card or any papercraft project and enter. So thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed to my channel already, please do. Bye.